Have you ever wondered what it truly means to live a fulfilling life after turning 70? In this video, I'll share the 11 powerful things I let go of to transform my journey into one filled with peace, joy, and renewed purpose. Whether you're approaching this milestone or already embracing it, these insights can help you redefine your life, shed what no longer serves you, and focus on what truly matters. Stay with me until the end to discover practical steps that can inspire your transformation and guide you toward a more meaningful and joyful chapter of life. If you're not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading these valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. 11 things I let go of after turning 70. Turning 70 was more than just another birthday. It was a profound turning point in my life, a milestone that beckoned me to reflect deeply on my journey and what truly mattered moving forward. As I crossed into this new chapter, I realized life wasn't simply about aging. It was about a beautiful transformation. It was a time to release old patterns, habits, and mindsets that no longer served me, things I had clung to for far too long. And in letting go, I found something truly invaluable: peace, joy, and a deep, unshakable sense of purpose. This wasn't an easy process. I had spent decades believing certain things were essential to my identity. But as I embraced this new phase of life, I realized how much baggage I had been carrying, unnecessary weight that clouded my happiness and limited my freedom. So I made the conscious decision to let go, to release what was holding me back from the life I had always dreamed of but was too afraid to claim. And the results? They were nothing short of miraculous. My heart felt lighter, my days brighter, and my purpose clearer than ever before. Letting go wasn't about giving up or resigning myself to old age. It was about shedding the layers that prevented me from fully living. I no longer wanted to be tethered by outdated beliefs, the fear of judgment, or the constant pressure to live up to others' expectations. I learned that true freedom comes when we stop clinging to the past and open ourselves to the boundless possibilities the future holds, no matter our age. For me, reaching 70 was a gateway to rediscovering the essence of who I am, a person deserving of joy, tranquility, and fulfillment. It was about choosing what mattered and finally letting go of everything that didn't. What I found in return was the extraordinary gift of living authentically, with more gratitude and purpose than I ever thought possible. So this journey of letting go wasn't just an act of decluttering my life. It was a powerful reclaiming of my spirit. It allowed me to embrace the richness of every single day, free from the burdens that had weighed me down. I let go, and in doing so, I unlocked a life filled with more peace, more joy, and more love than I had ever imagined. 1. Letting go of working. Just to stay busy. In my younger years, I was caught in an endless cycle of busyness, always striving to climb higher, achieve more, and secure my place in the world. I believed that working nonstop, juggling projects, and being constantly on the move was the key to success. It felt like if I wasn't busy, I was falling behind. The corporate grind became my norm, and I measured my worth by how much I accomplished. But as I reached 70, something inside shifted. I began to see that all the hustle, all the late nights and endless tasks had drained me of my energy, my joy, and my connection to the things that truly mattered. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. The truth hit me hard. I wasn't living. I'd been working out of habit, not passion or purpose. And that realization changed everything. I began to ask myself, why am I doing this? What is the real reason behind my constant busyness? If a project or task didn't align with my core values or bring me closer to my personal goals, I permitted myself to step back. It was such a liberating feeling, like shedding a weight I didn't realize I had been carrying for decades. Letting go of the need to always be busy allowed me to rediscover the joy of living in the present. I no longer equate busyness with success. Instead, I found that true wealth lies in the time I spend with the people I love, in pursuing hobbies that bring me real happiness, and in those quiet moments of reflection and rest that are often overlooked. Every day feels more intentional now, more grounded in what matters to me. Have you ever felt like you're just working out of habit, always chasing the next thing without even knowing why? What would it feel like to step back, to let go of that constant urge to be productive? Imagine a life where the only things you work on are those that bring you joy or serve a higher purpose. Would you feel more fulfilled? For me, the answer was a resounding yes. By letting go of unnecessary busyness, I've opened the door to a more balanced, peaceful, and purposeful life. A life where I finally feel free. 2. Quitting mindless spending. For so many years, I was trapped in the cycle of mindless spending, not even realizing the toll it was taking on my life. Everywhere I looked, messages were telling me to buy more, to have more, to accumulate things that promised happiness and fulfillment, and I fell for it. I filled my home with gadgets, clothes, and trinkets that I thought would bring me joy, but the happiness these things brought was fleeting, disappearing as quickly as it came, and what was left behind? A house full of clutter and a nagging emptiness that no amount of purchases could ever fill. As I've grown older, I've come to a powerful realization. Material possessions rarely provide lasting satisfaction. All those things I bought with the hope of feeling fulfilled, none of them truly mattered. I realized that the real wealth in life isn't found in things, but in experiences, relationships, and moments that enrich my soul. So I made a conscious decision to quit mindless spending and start spending with intention. Now, I only buy things that genuinely add value to my life, whether it's an enriching experience like traveling to a new place or something as simple as a book that expands my mind. This change has been transformative. It's not just about saving money, although that's certainly been a nice benefit, but about shifting my focus away from materialism and onto the things that truly bring me joy. I no longer feel the pull to shop impulsively, to fill an emotional void with things I don't need. Instead, I appreciate the simplicity of life, the beauty in what I already have, and the deep sense of contentment that comes from focusing on the non-material aspects of life that matter. Have you ever bought something on impulse, only to feel that sinking regret later on? Imagine how much lighter, how much freer you would feel if you let go of that habit. How would your life change if you started spending with intention, only on things that truly brought you happiness or served a meaningful purpose? For me, it has brought a sense of peace I never knew I needed. More freedom, more clarity, and more room to enjoy the things that matter. 3. Letting go of stressing over the small things. In my younger years, I used to let the tiniest inconveniences throw me off balance. Whether it was traffic jams, petty arguments, or a last-minute change in plans, I would let these small irritations fester inside me, slowly building into a wave of stress that followed me everywhere. It was exhausting, constantly being on edge about things that, in hindsight, didn't matter at all. This low-grade anxiety drained my energy and robbed me of the joy that comes from simply being present. But when I turned 70, something shifted within me. I began to ask myself a simple yet powerful question whenever I felt my stress rising. Will this matter a year from now? The answer, almost every single time, was a resounding no. And just like that, I started to let go of the small stuff that once consumed me. It was as if a weight had been lifted off my shoulders, a weight I had carried for decades, without even realizing it. By letting go of the things I couldn't control, I found a sense of peace and clarity that had been missing for so long. Traffic jams? They'll pass. Arguments? Most aren't worth the energy. Appointments that don't go as planned? They'll be forgotten soon enough. Focusing on what I can control and letting go of what I can't has allowed me to approach life with a calmer, more grounded perspective. I've learned that life is full of imperfections, uncertainties, and messy moments, and that's okay. There's beauty in the chaos, and by accepting it, I've discovered a deeper sense of peace than I ever thought possible. Imagine how different your life could be if you stopped worrying about things beyond your control. How much lighter would you feel if you let go of those small, insignificant stresses that clutter your mind? What's one tiny thing that's been bothering you lately? Something that, if you think about it, doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Could you let it go? Could releasing that burden bring more peace to your day? For me, letting go of stressing over the small things has been nothing short of transformative. It's given me the freedom to focus on what truly matters, and it's made my days so much more enjoyable. Peace isn't found in a life free of problems. It's found in how we respond to them. 4. Prioritizing self-care over pleasing others. For most of my life, I was caught in the trap of constantly trying to please others. Whether it was family, friends, or colleagues, their needs always came first. I wore my selflessness like a badge of honor, thinking that putting myself last somehow made me a better person. But the truth is, it left me feeling drained, worn out, and disconnected from myself. I had given so much of my energy away that there was nothing left for me. It wasn't until I turned 70 that I finally realized something important. Self-care isn't selfish. It's essential. In a world where we are conditioned to prioritize everyone else, I had to unlearn the idea that taking care of myself meant I was neglecting others. It was a tough shift to make, but it was also incredibly liberating. I started small, setting aside time for myself in the mornings. Whether it was meditating, taking a quiet walk in nature, or savoring a cup of tea while getting lost in a good book, I began nurturing my mind and spirit. I also practiced gratitude and spoke to myself with the same kindness I so readily gave others. This newfound commitment to self-care changed everything. It was like refilling a well that had long since run dry. I found that when I took care of my own needs, I had so much more energy, patience, and love to give to others. Instead of feeling resentful or exhausted, I was present, engaged, and able to give from a place of fullness rather than depletion. Have you ever found yourself constantly putting others first, neglecting your own needs? It's easy to fall into the habit of thinking that caring for yourself is selfish. But in reality, it's the most loving thing you can do. Imagine how much more you could give to the people you care about if you made your well-being a priority. What would happen if you carved out time just for yourself? How would your life change if you made self-care a non-negotiable part of your day? For me, prioritizing self-care has been nothing short of transformative. It has allowed me to show up more fully for myself and for the people I love. It's a daily reminder that I deserve the same care, kindness, and attention that I so freely offer to others. Self-care isn't a luxury, it's a necessity, and by embracing it, I found a deeper sense of peace, balance, and joy in my life. 5. Saying no to overcommitting. For most of my life, I was the person who said yes to everything. Whether it was attending social events, volunteering, or helping friends and family with tasks, I was always eager to be there for everyone. I didn't want to disappoint anyone, so I filled my days to the brim, constantly running from one commitment to the next. But the cost was steep. My peace and well-being were often sacrificed. I had no time to breathe, no time to rest, and no time for myself. I was exhausted, both physically and emotionally. I began to realize that always saying yes wasn't making me happy. It was draining me. As I've grown older, I've come to understand that saying no is one of the most empowering things I can do for myself. It's not about being selfish. It's about being mindful of my time, my energy, and my well-being. Now I'm selective about what I commit to. I ask myself, does this align with my values? Does it bring me joy? If the answer is no, then I don't hesitate to turn down the invitation, the request, or even the person who may be draining my energy. And let me tell you, it's been one of the most liberating changes I've ever made. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment too below to let me know that you are still here with me. By saying no to the things that don't serve me, I've opened up space in my life for what truly matters. I no longer feel the pressure to please everyone. Instead, I focus on the commitments that bring me genuine happiness and fulfillment. There's a quiet power in choosing what to say yes to and protecting your time and energy. I found more balance, more peace, and more time to nurture the relationships and activities that bring meaning to my life. Do you ever struggle with saying no? Do you find yourself overcommitting even when it leaves you feeling drained? Imagine how freeing it would be to choose only the commitments that truly serve you. What's one thing you've agreed to that's sapping your energy? How would it feel to say no the next time an unwanted request comes your way? For me, learning to say no has been a game changer. It's given me the gift of time to rest, to reflect, and to focus on what's truly important. By letting go of the need to overcommit, I've reclaimed my energy, and in doing so, found more joy and fulfillment in the commitments I choose. Saying no is not a rejection of others, it's an affirmation of yourself. Part 3, 6. Ending unhealthy relationships. Relationships are at the heart of our lives, shaping who we are and how we experience the world. But not all relationships are created equal. For years, I clung to connections with people who didn't respect me or brought negativity into my life. Out of a sense of duty or obligation, whether they were friends, colleagues, or even family members, I felt compelled to maintain these relationships, even though they left me feeling drained, anxious, and emotionally exhausted. Deep down, I knew these relationships weren't serving me, but I couldn't let go. I didn't want to disappoint anyone, and I feared being alone. But when I turned 70, something inside me shifted. I had a wake-up call, a realization that life is far too short to waste on people who don't uplift you. Time is precious, and spending it with those who don't bring joy, peace, or positivity into your life is not only draining, it's damaging. Letting go of unhealthy relationships wasn't easy, and it came with its share of guilt and uncertainty. But it was also one of the most freeing and necessary things I've ever done for myself. I didn't end these relationships with malice or bitterness. I simply chose to prioritize my well-being. I began focusing on people who genuinely cared for me, who supported me, and who encouraged my growth. I sought out those relationships that were nurturing, enriching, and mutual. What I found was nothing short of transformative. Letting go of toxic connections created space for deeper, more meaningful bonds. The weight of negativity lifted, and I felt a profound sense of peace I hadn't known before. I was finally surrounded by people who made me feel valued, respected, and loved. Are there people in your life who drain your energy? Maybe you've been holding on to relationships that, deep down, you know aren't serving you. What might happen if you focused on those who lift you instead of those who bring you down? Imagine how much lighter and happier you would feel if you chose to invest your time in people who bring positivity into your life. Ending unhealthy relationships isn't easy, but it's a powerful act of self-love. It's not about cutting people off out of anger. It's about choosing to nurture the connections that bring joy, love, and support into your world. Since making this shift, my life has been filled with deeper, more meaningful connections, and I've never felt more at peace. Sometimes the greatest gift you can give yourself is the freedom to walk away from what no longer serves you. 7. Putting my health first. For far too long, I put my health on the back burner, convinced that there were always more important things demanding my attention, work, family, and endless responsibilities. It was easy to push my well-being aside, telling myself I'd focus on it later. But when I turned 70, I had a moment of reckoning. I realized that I could no longer afford to ignore my health. I began to understand that without it, even the simplest joys of life, like playing with my grandkids, taking a walk in nature, or just waking up without aches and pains, could slip through my fingers. It wasn't an overnight transformation, but I started with small, manageable changes. I began walking every morning, not as a chore, but as a time to reconnect with myself and the world around me. I swapped out processed foods for fresher, healthier options, nourishing my body in ways I hadn't before. Perhaps most importantly, I carved out moments for stillness and reflection through meditation, something that has deeply enriched my mental and emotional health. These small changes weren't just about improving my physical health. They were a gateway to clearer thinking, more emotional balance, and an overall sense of well-being that I had long overlooked. There's a saying that health is wealth, and now I know how true that is. No amount of money, success, or achievement can replace the feeling of waking up each day feeling strong, capable, and mentally clear. The best part? It's never too late to start. No matter where you are in life, taking even the smallest step toward better health can create ripple effects that change everything. How often do you find yourself putting your health last? What if, just for a moment, you shifted your focus and made your well-being a priority? Imagine the difference that even the tiniest change, whether it's a daily walk, a healthier meal, or a few minutes of quiet meditation, could make in your life. How might it change the way you feel, the way you move, and the way you experience the world around you? For me, prioritizing my health has been nothing short of transformative. It's not just about living longer, it's about living better. And if I can do it at 70, I truly believe anyone can. So, what's one small thing you can start doing today to improve your health? You might just be amazed at how it changes your life. 8. Tackling procrastination on personal goals. Time is a funny thing. It seems infinite when we're young, and before we know it, years have slipped through our fingers. For much of my life, I fell into the trap of believing there was always tomorrow, always later, to chase my dreams. I was busy with the demands of everyday life, always telling myself that there would be time in the future to focus on me, on the passions and goals I had quietly tucked away. But when I turned 70, I had a sobering realization: later isn't guaranteed. That wake-up call pushed me to stop waiting for the elusive perfect moment and to start taking action on the dreams I had postponed for far too long. I no longer wanted to be the person who looked back with regret, wondering what could have been if I had only dared to act sooner. Whether it was learning a new skill, traveling to a place I had always dreamed of, or simply finishing the book I started years ago, I committed myself to pursuing my personal goals with intention, determination, and most importantly, joy. There's an incredible power in deciding that the perfect time is now. No more waiting, no more making excuses, no more putting off the things that truly mattered to me. What I discovered along the way was nothing short of magical. This shift has reignited my passion for life in ways I never expected. Each day feels filled with purpose, excitement, and a renewed sense of adventure. I'm no longer living in the someday mindset. I'm living in the here and now, and it feels exhilarating. Have you ever put your dreams on hold, telling yourself that you'll get to them later? What's stopping you from taking that first step today? Imagine how your life might change if you stopped waiting for the perfect time and started pursuing your personal goals right now. What's one dream that's been lingering in the back of your mind? I can tell you from experience that the moment you stop procrastinating on what truly matters to you, everything changes. You realize that it's not about having everything figured out or waiting for the stars to align. It's about taking action, however small, and watching as those small steps build into something extraordinary. The perfect time is now. I promise you, once you start, you'll wonder why you didn't take that leap sooner. So, what's holding you back? Start today and watch your life transform. Part 4. 9. Embracing change. Instead of fearing it for the longest time, change was my biggest fear. I dreaded the thought of anything shifting or evolving in my life. I held on tightly to what was familiar, even when deep down I knew it wasn't serving me anymore. There's a certain comfort in the known, and I convinced myself that staying in my comfort zone was the safest, easiest path. But as the years passed, and especially as I reached 70, I began to see things differently. I started to understand that change is inevitable, whether we welcome it or not. More importantly, I realized that change is often the key to growth, renewal, and discovering new layers of ourselves that we never knew existed. Instead of resisting change, I made the conscious choice to embrace it with open arms. And what a profound shift that was. Where I once saw change as something frightening, I now see it as a gateway to new experiences, opportunities, and self-discovery. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. Embracing change has added a sense of freedom and adventure to my life that I never expected at this stage. Each change, big or small, has become a chance to learn, evolve, and step into new possibilities. By welcoming change, I've opened myself to so much more than I could have ever imagined. I no longer cling to the past or hold on to what feels safe simply out of fear. Instead, I approach each change with curiosity, asking myself, what new experience might this bring? How can I grow through this? What I found is that change has a way of transforming us, often in ways we never thought possible. It has brought me closer to my true self and has added a sense of excitement and renewal to my life. What if you stopped fearing change and started viewing it as an adventure? What if, instead of resisting the shifts that life inevitably brings, you leaned into them with an open heart? Imagine how your life might transform if you stopped clinging to what was and embraced what could be. Are there changes you've been resisting out of fear? What might happen if you chose to face them head-on with curiosity instead of hesitation? For me, this shift in mindset has been life-changing. By embracing change rather than fearing it, I've unlocked new dimensions of joy, growth, and freedom in my life. So what's stopping you from leaning into change? Let it guide you, let it teach you, and most importantly, let it lead you to a life full of new possibilities. The adventure awaits. You just have to be willing to leap. 10. Valuing sleep as a cornerstone of health. Sleep is one of those things we often overlook when we're younger. We think we can get by on a few hours here and there, pushing ourselves to stay up late for work, socializing, or mindless distractions. I was no different. I used to sacrifice rest without a second thought, running on fumes because there was always something that felt more important. But as I've gotten older, I've come to deeply appreciate how vital sleep is to my overall well-being. I realized that without proper rest, my body, mind, and spirit simply couldn't function at their best. Sleep, I've learned, is not a luxury. It's a necessity. It's during those hours of rest that our bodies heal, our minds reset, and our spirits recharge. Now, I don't take sleep for granted anymore. I've made it a cornerstone of my health, prioritizing it above late-night TV, staying up for another hour of work, or mindlessly scrolling on my phone. I've established a bedtime routine that helps me wind down and ensures I'm getting the quality rest I need. A warm cup of herbal tea, a good book, or some gentle meditation. These small rituals signal to my body that it's time to relax, let go of the day, and restore itself. The difference this change has made is profound. Waking up feeling refreshed, energized, and clear-headed has become one of the most rewarding changes I've made for myself. I'm no longer dragging through the day, trying to function on limited energy. Instead, I wake up with a sense of vitality that allows me to fully embrace the day ahead. Sleep has truly transformed the way I live, and I can't emphasize enough how crucial it is for not just physical health, but mental clarity and emotional balance as well. Are you getting enough sleep? Think about it for a moment. How much better could you feel with just a little more rest? How might your mood, your energy levels, and even your productivity improve if you made sleep a priority? What's one small change you can make to your bedtime routine that could help you get the rest you deserve? If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. For me, the simple act of valuing sleep has been life-changing. It's taught me to respect my body's needs and honor the importance of rest in living a full, vibrant life. So tonight, why not try winding down a little earlier? Turn off the screens, create a calming routine, and let yourself fully rest.